Hello, you are listening to Cheat Sheet. I'm Sophie Ridge.
And I'm Wilfred Frost. It's Wednesday, the 21st of January, and here's what's happening.
Donald Trump is heading to Davos, where he's likely to have a few pretty awkward conversations with European leaders over his threats on Greenland.
There's been another deadly train crash in Spain, this time in Barcelona.
And Prince Harry is going to be giving evidence today at the High Court against the publishers of the Daily Mail. So Donald Trump going to Switzerland, going to Davos, he's going to be addressing world leaders. And the interesting thing is he's now slightly shifted his tone a bit. He's saying that he's sure he's going to work something out with Nato over his plans to take over Greenland.
And so the tone shift I noticed a few hours earlier in the day, because Scott Bessent, his Treasury Secretary, was giving an interview to CNBC. And on that, he said, don't retaliate to the EU. And it was a sort of watch this space type hint. At Donald Trump in that very, very, very long press conference he gave that started around 6:30 p.m. UK time, went on for a couple of hours. I actually went to sleep watching him last night. I fell asleep, couldn't get through it. It was quite captivating. But
not that captivating.
But not for 2 hours when you have to get up at 3:30. As you said, in that press conference, he slightly softened his tone. I still think we're in completely uncharted territory. He's going into the lion's den, if you will, of respect institutions, free trade, do things the way we've done them for centuries. Davos, to give a speech that no doubt will not strike any of those tones. Here's a little clip of him from last night's press conference addressing that point precisely.
I think that we will work something out where NATO is going to be very happy and where we're going to be very happy. But we need it for security purposes. We need it for national security and even world security. It's very important. How about it?
We wait to see, obviously, that speech today in Davos, which is going to be fascinating, by the way. You know, I can't wait to watch it later today, given the setup. So far, obviously, we haven't seen retaliatory tariffs from the EU. We have seen very clear new stance from Mark Carney of Canada. It started at the weekend where he announced a trade deal with China, most notably removing 99% tariffs on Chinese EVs, which is sort of a real trigger topic for the US administration, obviously, to bring those EVs in at a cheaper price on the same continent. It continued yesterday. His speech, was well worth everyone going to watch it on YouTube, the whole thing. He was very clear. He said the old world order is over. Let me be direct. We have to stick together, those of us that respect the rules. So he's not got this message that was started to be delivered yesterday by the US Treasury Secretary of don't retaliate. He's standing up very clearly. Most of what we just touched on was Greenland related. What's the latest, Sophie, on the US president's view towards our Chagos deal?
Well, he's still saying it's a stupid thing to do, is basically what he's saying. And that we shouldn't be signing over sovereignty of the Chagos Islands to Mauritius. It's an act of great stupidity. And at the press conference that sent you to sleep yesterday, he also said that they are originally, because he was asked basically, hang on, didn't you guys back this deal before? And he said, oh yeah, when they were originally going to do it, we were talking about some concept of ownership, but now they just want to do a lease and sale and I'm against it. So yeah, he's digging in on Chagos.
Do you know what's also hilarious? He then said, maybe the UK needs money or something. He thinks it's a stupid deal without even realising that we're paying to do it.
I know.
And we're not making money from it.
I know. I mean, there's two points in there.
When you look at the bullet points of it, I mean, we all kind of assumed it was done and dusted. I assume it still is done and dusted. Maybe there's a small crack in the door now, but it is an odd deal.
Yeah, I think there's two things to say about Trump thinking that we're getting money from it. Firstly, you know, the fact that, as you say, it does underline some of the slightly head-scratchy parts of this deal that we're, paying for it. I mean, just to say, like, the reason we're paying for it is to lease the base. That's the military base, which is a huge part of why everyone is so focused on the Chagos Islands, the Diego Garcia base. But it also underlines that Donald Trump hasn't read it. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's shooting from the hip again. And I think this just shows how difficult it is for any world leader to deal with Donald Trump when he is this very, very capricious president. It's like a roller coaster ride, honestly. And again, we're seeing this, I think, with both the Chagos Islands, where America welcomed it earlier this year or last year, and now they're suddenly against it. And also genuinely with Greenland and NATO, where, it just feels like they're saying slightly different things all the time. Like, how do you respond as a world leader to that?
So hard to deal with, no doubt about it. Just to round all of that off again, reminder, Keir Starmer's not going to Davos. Nigel Farage is. I am sure that is because Nigel Farage knows he's got some time with President Trump, or else he wouldn't himself go into the lion's den of elite establishment in Davos. So it's going to be fascinating to watch that. Final point on all the sort of domestic stroke foreign news is the China super embassy has been approved. And they did sort of slip it under the radar in light of tons and tons of other news to distract people. And that hasn't received ire from the US since the announcement. But of course, Speaker Johnson warned against it in our interview on Friday. And it does disappoint the opposition, but Labour's seemingly quite relaxed about it. So that's been approved, and on it goes.
There's been another train crash in Spain, this time in Barcelona. This is 2 days after the train crash in the country's south, and that killed 42 people. In this one, the train drivers died, 37 people are injured, and it's after part of a wall fell onto tracks after this bad weather. And look, the timing of this, of course, is going to raise questions about Spain's rail network. It does feel like with this one, there is a clearer reason for it, with this wall falling down. And the puzzle, I think, with the one before, is that no one could really tell why it happened, and that's why the investigation is so important.
So Prince Harry is giving evidence today. The court case obviously began earlier in the week. His case against the publishers of the Daily Mail associated newspapers. He's in court alongside other celebrities like Sir Elton John. Their accusation is that associated newspapers gathered information unlawfully. Today's the day when he starts to give his evidence, his testimony, which will be obviously fascinating to watch. Our team will be there, Laura Bundock and co., to cover it very closely, and we'll see what his testimony brings. The court case itself expected to last quite a few weeks, 8-9 weeks.
Now, I'm slightly fascinated by this next story, right?
It's great.
You've got two of, I think they would probably actually be okay with this description. Two of probably the biggest male egos in the world. And I reckon they would actually kind of buy into this. Elon Musk versus Michael O'Leary. It's like the kind of war of words, the fight that we all wanted to see in some ways.
And it comes to a head today because Ryanair are holding a press conference about it. So if you haven't seen this, over the last couple of weeks, Elon Musk and the Ryanair CEO, Michael O'Leary, have been getting in a spat, which started because Ryanair were considering buying Wi-Fi services for their flights from Starlink, Elon Musk's satellite internet company. And obviously at the last minute, or I don't know how close it got, they went with another provider.
A massive snub.
A big snub. He then said, I'm going to buy Ryanair. And his joke was, I'm going to return it to being led by someone called Ryan. And asking on a Twitter poll, should I buy it? By the way, to buy it would cost, the market cap today is about 34 billion euros, well within Elon Musk's range, if he really wanted to. It's an X spat, a Twitter spat, but it's going to get more legs because of this press conference today.
This is it. Michael O'Leary is not the kind of guy who you can insult like that and he's just going to take it. It's just not going to happen. He's going to come out swinging. And so he's holding a press conference later today to address what he's called Musk's Twitter tantrum. And I'll be honest, I'm going to be glued. That's going to be a great one.
I know, really good. Do you know what, as you say, they're both always speak their mind.
Yeah, they do.
And they know their stuff, and they're very credible. By the way, Ryanair share price is up more than 100%. It's more than doubled since the start of 2023. So he comes into it with he's not as rich as Elon Musk, nowhere near, obviously.
No, but he
comes into it with a spring in his step and grounds to push back. That was today's cheat sheet. Thanks so much for listening or watching.